We come back to what do we do right now to put guns in the hands of the people who are being tormented, who are being invaded. The constitutional force majeure that we activated on the 16th of December in 2020 has gone through the implementation phases that involved enlightenment and mobilization, going towards enforcement now. And we have come to where we must activate the armed self-defense component of the self-determination that is being asserted. And how will it go? How was it designed to go? How can it go now? The governors will remember that on the 17th of April in 2021, after the 90 days had lapsed, the 90 days notice we gave to the federal government to come to the discussion of this union dispute raised. It lapsed on the 16th of March. So by the 17th, we then invited the governors to come in 30 days that followed to the discussion, because the federal government is on one side. The governors will either be on the side of their people in this debate or cling with the side of the enemy holding that constitution as sacrosanct. The people have repudiated this constitution. I'm sure we remember by solemn assembly in Port-Harcourt, 27 April 2015, the peoples of the lower Niger, that's the south, south, and southeast, or the old Midwestern region and eastern region, the nationalities spread across those 11 states of now, had gathered as ethnic nations in Port-Harcourt to repudiate that constitution to the hearing of the whole world. On the 7th of September in 2017, the Yoruba did a similar thing. Yoruba Solemn Assembly at Adamasingba Stadium in Ibadan. Their governors were all present. Their traditional rulers were present, including the Oni, and all kinds of their political leaders, repudiating that constitution as basis of union for them. On the 18th of July in 2018, the Middle Belt did likewise. And so, having all repudiated that constitution, it is that constitution by its exclusive list that sequestered the control of arms to the government, federal government. It is that constitution that forbids the states from touching arms or ammunition. It is that constitution that put police and other security, army and all the other things in between in the hands of the federal government exclusively. And so, the peoples of the land, the indigenous nationalities of Nigeria, in exercise of their sovereignty, have repudiated the constitution by which their sovereignty is confiscated and detained, by which they are exposed to this kind of danger of being killed because there's some federal government that has exclusive control over guns. And so, on the 17th of April 2021, NINAS then invited the governors to specific actions they must take after the 30-day consultation. Those actions, boil down to going to send bills to the state assembly, their state assemblies, because they have to be either on the side of their people who are being invaded and killed, or on the side of the enemy that is hanging onto that constitution as basis of union. Their people have rejected that constitution that tied their hands and removed guns from their hands. So the governors were invited to now step up to fill the gap. The federal government, the complicity of the federal government is no longer in dispute. Danjuma told us in 2018, in March 2018, that the government of Nigeria was complicit in the invasion that was going on, that people should get ready to defend themselves. Again, we had the privilege of going to Washington to share with those who are fighting with ISIS, to say that ISIS is now in our sub-region. In fact, headquartered in our country, and that our president and commander-in-chief seem to be their chief host. Of course, things have happened to show abundantly that there's complicity. Otherwise, who pulled out the soldiers that were guarding Kuje prison 24 hours before this last assault? What was it, the terror, the demand of the terror attack, the people that attacked the train between Kaduna and Abuja? What were they, what was it they were saying about some promise that was made to them that must be fulfilled concerning land and all kinds of other things? So it's no longer in doubt that there is complicity of the government of Nigeria and its armed forces, organized by the Fulani, controlled by the Fulani exclusively. And so the governors were invited to send bills. You know, in the last broadcast we said, if our people will listen to us now, we will tell them what to do to put guns in the hands of those who have been invaded legitimately. The governors must now, this is now marching order from the owners of the sovereignty. The governors must now step into that role of filling the gap, since the federal government is not coming to defend them. Rather, the federal government is complicit in the attack. The governors must now do like Samuel Otom did, taking to the same advice, to send bills to the state assemblies. Let those state assemblies pass the bills. Let the governors sign the bills into law to issue firearms to agencies they are going to create to defend their people. It's not enough to say the people should go and defend themselves. Why? How would they do it? How would they organize themselves to be able to push back when 200-300, militia men, Fulani militia, turn up in their communities bearing AK-47, 3 men per motorcycle? That's the way they move. And so if you have a community that can hardly boast of 100 or 200 people, how are they going to respond if they are surrounded by 900 men carrying fully loaded AK-47? Is it by jawbone they are going to defend them? I ask Pastor Adeboye. Is it by what means? So the governors cannot be going in the name of the people to collect 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion every month. The governors cannot be collecting taxes and buying houses in Switzerland and Ikoyi for themselves. And then when it comes to doing what they should do to defend the people that are being killed, they say Constitution say. There's nothing. Constitution is dead. The 1999 Constitution is no longer able to prevent you from doing whatever you can be doing for yourself. So those 68 items on the exclusive list, arms and ammunition and everything that you couldn't do. I'm sure most of us heard that Governor Fayemi in Ekiti bought drones to deploy, to even see what's going on in his forest. And he tried to go to get permission from Abuja to deploy the drones. The National Security Advisor wrote him a letter saying only the federal government can and the military can deploy drones. Governor, chief executive officer, chief security officer for a state cannot deploy drones to look into the forest to see who and who is coming and killing farmers and molesting people, because Nigeria imposed, the Fulani imposed a constitution that exclude everybody else from touching gun or taking care of their security. So where we are now is that every other suggestion about how to go and defend yourself or how to go and get gun that could be criminalized, I have to refer now to a video that has gone viral from Pastor Paul Enenche, in which he was talking about some law that permit people to defend themselves, a criminal code or penal code, in which they could, in cause of defending themselves or other people or their property, even kill the aggressor. Yes, such law exists, but there's also the Constitution that expressly make arms and ammunition the exclusive business of federal government. The implication being that if you are found with any gun that was not issued to you, authorized by the government, federal government, or any of its agencies, it is an offense in itself. There must be some mediocre lawyer that has come to make that suggestion that there is a law under which people can, because people who listen to it will think, oh, let's go and get our gun and wait. Under the constitution that supersedes all the laws, because that's what constitution is, it overrides the other laws. The constitution says only the federal government and its agencies can carry arms or authorize or issue arms. Any gun not licensed by them becomes an offense if found with you. And so it is not enough to say go and defend yourself. It will be the wrong law to cite that people can go and get gun because some laws say, where the constitution say otherwise. You are endangering the people who will listen to that instruction, to that advice. We have also heard it from a few other places where people are imagining that they could just go and get gun, everybody get gun. No, let that energy that is being used to pursue PVC now. Election is 2023. You are being, distracted from the invasion that is going on. That energy that is being used to pursue PVC should be used to compel those governors to do exactly what Samuel Autumn did. And NINAS is hoping, from where things are now, NINAS is hoping that in course of July in 2022, all the states, especially the ones that have passed anti-open grazing laws, will follow it up by passing the kind of law that Benue passed, by which firearms were issued. Because the constitution has been repudiated by their constituents, the governors must now step into that space. Our sovereignty is on the table. If the governors don't join their people to step into that space, to make laws and issue firearms, create agencies that will stand in, not state police, not anything the National Assembly has to approve of, not anything the IG of police has to approve of. We saw the governor in Zamfara talking about police commissioners that will approve. No, you don't need anybody's approval. If the state assembly will pass the law for you to create an agency to bear arms that will defend the people from this kind of invaders. Under such laws, you can also deploy drones to monitor when they are coming. If you do not step into that role now, the terrorists, the militia, the Fulani invaders are going to step into it, like we have seen in Zamfara, where they control about 7 local government areas now collecting taxes. You cannot say you are governor and this kind of a thing is happening, and we have this kind of opening in which the constitution that has been repudiated, you are now citing it as reason why you can't. So you are standing with the enemy if you are not standing with the people. So we are inviting everybody concerned to realize that we can put guns in the hands of our people. We endanger them if we ask them to go and defend themselves. The general officers that are saying these things are surrounded by mobile policemen and soldiers, large numbers, in the place they live. But they ask villagers whose income cannot even buy one rifle. How are they going to more or less coordinate themselves to be able to become any kind of resistance to this kind of invasion we see? They come on motorcycles. The law is on the side of the enemy. That's why the motorcycles can come from wherever they come and go as they go. We saw the other time that people tried to chase after the ones who invaded them, and military helicopters turned up in Southern Kaduna. Military helicopters turned up in the sky and cleared out the villagers so that the invaders can escape. So it is a choice that has to be made now, that those governors must now be on the side of their people to send in bills to the state assemblies, pass it into law, sign and issue firearms. We cannot be, elections will not resolve this matter. Election is the most is the most wicked distraction in the kind of invasion that is going on.